Former SAA Board Chair Dudu Myeni has pleaded guilty to defeating the ends of justice. Now, you may remember this incident during state capture testimony. She revealed the actual identity of a protected state capture witness who had been known as Mr. X. In fact, a number of times she said his name, and this was in the public hearing. So she was in court today around that issue, and let's get all the information about that from our reporter Pule Lechwiti-Jones. So Pule, thank you very much for joining us. This was a big deal when it happened, and she obviously, we all saw it happen. We all saw her name, the suspect, rather the witness, and she pleaded guilty, obviously. So tell us what happened in court.
Yeah, definitely. When you look back as to what happened in November 2020, she repeatedly said the name of the witness twice, despite being reprimanded by then Deputy Chief Justice Raymond Zondo. The Chief Justice at that particular moment said that he would be reporting her, in fact, escalating the matter. The matter was then, she was then charged for that. She tried to make representations before the National Director of Public Prosecutions, Shamila Batoy, to try and see if she wouldn't have the matter readdressed, but those attempts were unsuccessful. From there onwards, we saw her being summoned to court, and she's been appearing throughout this court matter. Today, she entered into a plea agreement and then pleaded guilty. Sadly, she was humbled. She was humbled after what she did, and this now means that she will have to adhere to some of the conditions, which means that she has to pay about 60,000 rand, 30,000 next week Wednesday, then the following one, the next 30,000 the following month. Initially, the court said she should pay 125,000, but the other half of the amount was suspended for 5 years on condition she does not commit the same offense. So she's accepted. Despite the plea agreement, her legal team, though, is quite, unsatisfied with this. They're saying that they were hoping for a much lenient, sort of punishment for their clients. And this is what we witnessed today. And perhaps maybe we can just listen to what they have to say regarding this matter.
As we've already submitted, my Lord, Your Worship, we were in protracted discussions with the prosecution, and what we would have ideally, for our client's benefit, hoped for a more lenient sentence, but taking into consideration the balance that has to be struck between the aggravation and the mitigation, two, taking into account the triage of sentencing.
I'm trying to work out what could mitigate against doing something like that. I mean, as you said, it wasn't just once. Once could be a slip of the tongue, could be, I completely forgot and I'm sorry, but it was more than once. Yeah. Did you get any insight through the court process as to how it actually came about that she ended up naming this witness? Did she have any defense for that? And in terms of mitigation against the sentence that she received, what did she say?
Well, one has to look at, when you go back to what had happened during the proceedings in November, it was quite intentional. I mean, she said it twice, like you're saying. Although she does not reveal in her court documents as to what would have been the sinister motive behind that, but one should also see this from a view of her having to now throw the witness under the bus and ensuring that his identity is revealed, sort of like a kickback from her side, which is totally unacceptable according to the commission at that particular moment, placing the risk of the witness at jeopardy at vast. But when you look at what her legal team is saying, is that they acknowledge that she did a mistake, firstly. They do also admit that it was intentional, and therefore they're saying that they're remorseful about what had happened. Of course, this is now late, and she is now having to pay a fine. But the MPA is of a strong view that this should actually send a strong message to say no one is above the law, but most importantly, witnesses should be protected in some of these key, crucial investigations, particularly with the state capture inquiry as well. Maybe we can just also listen to what they have to say regarding this matter.
Both parties, we sat and negotiated, and we both agreed that this is a just sentence that strikes a balance between the interest of justice, the interest of the accused, and it also have considered the seriousness of the offense she committed, as well as the interest of justice. Both parties then proposed a sentence of a fine of 120,000 rands. half of which was suspended, which therefore means that she now has to pay 60,000 rands, and she made arrangements to pay it in 2 installments. One will be paid today, the 27th of July 2022, and the balance of 30,000 must be paid on or before the 29th of August 2020. So when you say half of which is suspended, which means the other 60,000 remain suspended on condition that she is not found guilty of committing the offense of defeating or obstructing the administration of justice within the period of suspension, which is a 5-year period.
And it's interesting because Dudu Myeni was pleading poverty, actually, as part of her defence. She's now a delinquent director after that court ruling around the way she behaved when she was SAA Board chair, but saying she doesn't have enough money. But we understand, in fact, she's already paid the first 30,000 straight after court today.
This is the information we actually got, that just straight after the court proceedings, she went on to actually opt for that option of paying for 30,000 rand in ensuring that, she can save herself from actually going into a 2-year imprisonment sentence. What was also important here, we've now established that they did say the witness is safe and nothing has happened to him thus far, thankfully. But this is not the first time. You'd remember even during the case where she against Outer, she did say that she was in a position not to pay and not to travel to court, actually to attend in person. So the pattern is quite, concerning as well, and, eyebrow raising. But at the very same time, what we saw was that she paid. So that's it, Sally. We wait to see what happens next.
Yeah, and it's a reminder that the State Capture Commission was a legal entity and not to be messed with in any way.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. That's ENCA reporter Pule Lechwiti Jones.